Today we're going to talk about 3 keys to playing drums for a band. So let's get started. Hey everyone, Gabe here from drumbeatsonline.com, a website that helps you become a better drummer. Today we are talking about 3 ways to become a better drummer within a band setting. So I want to be very upfront with you and say this lesson isn't going to include me showing you a bunch of brand new drum fills and drum beats, but it's going to be me showing you examples and talking to you about very, very key concepts that I believe to be very important when you are playing with a band. So with that being said, let's jump right into this. So this lesson is coming about because a little bit ago I posted a live drum cover of me playing with the band, and some of the comments were wondering, hey, why aren't you playing some of the huge crazy fills that you play in your drum covers? And that's a totally fair question. So that's going to be one of the big parts that I'm going over today. So we're going to be talking about your drum parts, your tone, and your dynamics. So let's start off with your drum parts, because I feel like this is the most important part of playing with a band. So what I mean by that is there is a very big difference between playing drum covers and playing with a band. And some people might not know that, and that's okay. So the mindset of playing a drum cover, and this is my mindset, is you're showcasing your drum abilities along to a song. So some of these parts can start to get really complex because you're showcasing the drums. However, when you're playing with a band, the drums are not being showcased. What's being showcased is the song as a whole. So if you start playing these crazy fills the whole time, now you're showcasing the drums instead of the song, and now the song isn't about a band as a whole, it's about the drummer. And that's not always the best way to go about things. So let me show you an example of what I mean. I'm going to play along to one of my performance tracks, and I'm going to show you an example of some simpler parts that maybe fit better with the song, and then maybe some parts that don't fit with the song as well and are a little too busy. Check it out. So this doesn't mean that you need to make all of your drum parts boring, but it does mean that you have to listen to the song and think, what is the best drum part for the song? Sometimes that is going to be a very simple, very boring 4 on the floor beat. Sometimes you can add a little flair here because you could think that some of these accents will actually improve the song, and that's great. But the key thing is listen to the song and decide for yourself what you think is going to be the best for the song. And if you're walking into a live band setting, my number 1 advice would be walk in with a simple idea, but then have a couple more complex ideas in your back pocket. So that way, if they say, hey, can you maybe add a little bit more energy to the part, you already have something that you can pull out and say, oh, I could do this instead. And it's much easier to add cool parts rather than take away. Like if you show up to a gig and you just start shedding all over the place, people aren't going to really know where to start. They're not going to know what to peel away, but it's very easy to start adding step by step. So Start simple and really pay attention to the song, and that will take you a long, long way. All right, now we're talking about tone. So what I mean by that is really tuning and cymbals too. So if you're playing different gigs with different bands, there's going to be some various tones that you can use. So what I see a lot of times is I'll see some drummers who are really sick gospel drummers. So they've got really bright cymbals, and their snare is just cranked all the way up, as well as their toms. Maybe not all the way up with their toms, but everything's very bright, very high pitched. And then they walk into maybe a rock setting or a setting where you have to lay down more of a pocket, and those tones don't fit. Even if you're playing the right parts in the right grooves, the tone doesn't fit. So you have to be very aware of what setting you're in. So if you're playing with a rock group, or maybe just like a slow fat pocket, you might want to tune down your snare a little bit, or maybe change your cymbal setup if you can. You can't always change your cymbals, but you can always change the tuning of your drums to fit the music. So I'll show you a quick example of playing a song with tones that don't fit, and then playing a song with tones that do fit. Check it out. All right, so the last key is dynamics, and this is really what brings everything together. So what dynamics means is really, you know how to play quiet in certain moments and then maybe bring up the energy and play louder in certain moments. You're very intentional with how hard or how soft you're playing and when you're doing that. So I know we've all seen the drummer at the club, not the club, but at a show, who's just bashing the crap out of his drums the entire time, and it's not fitting. He can be playing the perfect parts for the song, but if he's just playing so loud the whole time, it doesn't work. And the same thing is for the opposite drummer, who is playing in a high energy group and that big chorus hits and he just sticks to like a quiet close hi-hat beat, and you're just like, man, where's the energy? So the key here is really being intentional with what part of the song needs to have more energy. And in that moment, maybe I'm going to move from an open hi-hat to the ride cymbal, or open up my hi-hat a little bit. I don't need to go crazy and bash it, but I can bring up and lift the song in that moment. Or what part of the song is very tender, and how can I bring my part down to match the energy of that song? So I'll show you a few examples of what not to do and what to do. Check it out. Guys, if you like this lesson, I'd really encourage you to check out my lessons on drumbeatsonline.com. You can check them out right over here, and I really think you'll like it. And my question for you is, what are some of the keys that I didn't go over in playing with the band? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you want, check out my last YouTube lesson right over here. Thanks so much for watching this, guys, and I will see you next week. See ya.